And welcome back into Tapped Out here on the BetQL Network with my partner, Brendan Tobin, who's very good, but I want the best. And the best is blessed. So we got Max Holloway joining us on Tapped Out. Max, I'm in Kansas City, bro, right? Midwest boy, born and raised. You're coming to Kansas City, fighting on Saturday night. For a guy that's fought all over the world, fought in Las Vegas, how excited are you to come here on Saturday?
Brother, I am here right now actually, and
Welcome.
I'm kind of like I'm kind of blown away at like the food here. I mean, I can't really eat too much about it, but every place that we stopped, we went to we had barbecue Q9. That was great. They gave us the first class treatment there, but I couldn't eat too much, so I got to just taste it a little, and I was kind of like, "Woo, what is going on?" And then we actually went to a brunch place. I forget what it was called, but the food here is something else, bro. I didn't think the food was gonna be that crazy. Bro, they even got sushi out here. You know
Oh,
what I mean?
yeah.
I'm like, I'm tripping out. Like right across the street, there's there's a famous thing called Kona Grill in Hawaii. There's a Kona Grill down here, and it's amazing, bro. I'm just blown away of how good. I didn't think the food was gonna be that good, and the food been nothing but great ever since. Everything I ate at least.
You don't have to get too specific with me, but they got you on the plaza, right? I mean, that's like a pretty dope spot to be.
Yeah. Pretty sick, yeah, we're almost like, yeah, the whole city is pretty cool. I mean, it felt like I was at home. We was walking the street the other day and had some guys on their quads papa wheeling. So I was like, wow, this is just like my town.
Max, from that standpoint, like, does your team, because you say you can't eat too much, do they have to be polite around you? Do they not have to pig out too much? Like, how does the when one is weight cutting, how do the coaches act around you when you're out to eat?
None, bro. No, they don't need to be polite, bro. At the end of the day, I chose this life. I know exactly what I had to do. Just because I'm suffering, you guys don't have to suffer. So I don't eat away, because if the shoe's on the other foot, I'd be eating away more than them. So I was like, go do you guys, man. I can catch up on Sunday.
Before we talk about your fight Saturday with Arnold Allen, I was looking back at your resume, bro, and not to blow smoke up your ass, but it's literally as impressive as anybody that I've seen. And not just the guys that you beat, but the guys you've gotten in the octagon with. I mean, hell, Conor McGregor, Dustin Poirier. This dude's beat Charles Oliveira, Jose Aldo twice, Anthony Pettis, I mean, Brian Ortega. Like, the list goes on and on. The reason I'm bringing all that up is, does it piss you off, all the questions about Alex Volkanovski having the resume that you have?
No, not really. It is what it is. It happens. I got to share the octagon with that guy like quite a few times now, and it is what it is. They didn't go my way. And especially with the last one, but I'm not gonna make no excuses. At the end of the day, MMA is a wild sport, and I believe that there's a fourth. I mean, I think the UFC, if they didn't believe that there could be a fourth between us, they'd probably force my hand to move up a weight class or something, but that's not the case. We stood here. I stood at 45. We still got unfinished business. First things first is Arnold Allen, like I always say. But when I retire, I want to be one of the greatest of all time, one of the greats ever. Even greater than the greats. I want to be on top of that Mount Rushmore of people. So, this is the first step in the right direction.
I thought you said something on one of like the lead up videos where you said, if you want somebody to become a fan of MMA, watch Max Holloway, which is so spot on. Max, why do you always like outperform these strikers, man? Like, people always think we're gonna hand these young lions to Max Holloway, who's been in the game forever and is still not, you're still in your prime basically. But when they come in there with you, what is it that you do that is like, no, this is next level that you're gonna learn here?
I mean, I don't know, man. It's something about, I guess, even with cable TV, that was on cable TV on ABC when we fought Cater, and I had that moment. And then now we're on cable TV again. We're on ESPN, so people can just tune in, and hopefully we can get some new fans, just change the channel, be like, what is going on here, and you're only as good as your last fight. So, at the end of the day, I want to go out there and make a statement and have fun. I know how it is. I was in his shoes at one point. I was on a 10-fight win streak in the UFC, and then I finally got my shot. This is his shot. I know I know what he did to prepare. I know exactly mentally where he needs to be, and we get to all the answers. I have questions, and we get to get the answers come Saturday night.
Max Blessed Holloway joining us here, tapped out on the BetQL network. Brendan said that you're in your prime. I was looking it up. 31 years old, dog. Is that right?
Yes, sir. I turned 31 at 32 at the end of the year.
Dude, that's crazy because a lot of guys don't come into their prime, especially in the fight game, still for a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? Until they're 33, 34. You're 31. Do you agree with him? Like, do you feel old or do you feel like you're still in your prime?
Bro, I feel young. I feel like I'm about to enter it. Like I feel still good. The training feels good. My body feels good. And I just feel awesome, man. I can't put in words what it is. You know, we live in a social media time, and I hear all the chirping. I hear all the talking, guys. I hear all the negativity. So everybody who's in doubt or whatever, tune in come April 15th, and you guys are going to get you guys answers because I can't wait, man. I can't wait. A lot of, everybody, the big thing when it comes to me is always damage this and damage that and damage. It's like, whatever you say, whatever you believe, us Hawaiians, we built different out there. And I'm going to continue to show who I am, I'm me.
Max, speaking of, doubters that get a lot of hate and concern, one of your fellow Hawaiians is a quarterback of my Miami Dolphins, Tua Tagovailoa.
Oh, yeah.
Like, can you explain, you have seen your social media support for him, what the relationship is with Tua, and what did you think about this past year? Best season he's had statistically, but obviously had to deal with a lot of the concussions.
Yeah, then that thing, man. Yeah, Tua, I got nothing but respect for him. We reached out to each other on top of social media here and there. I wouldn't really be like, oh, he's one of my best friends. I would like, if he said that he's my friend, I would say he's my friend. But at the end of the day, he's a great kid. He's a great man, a great person on this earth, a great leader. And it just happens, things happen like that. He was having the season of his life, man. And then one thing, man, leads into another. And hopefully he's all right. Hopefully he's doing all the things, which I know for sure he needs to be doing all the things for his head and getting checked and coming back. Because, man, I really think Tua can do it, man. I think he can bring Miami back a Super Bowl, and it'd be exciting.
Have you heard, though, what he is doing? Like, he went to the offseason with a plan, and he's taken up jiu-jitsu, apparently, because a lot of the hits that he took were hitting the back of his head on the field. So he's like,
when I saw it, I actually read that. When I saw that, that was smart, to learn how to fall. Because when he is getting thrown, he's just kind of like throwing himself, So if you got two of your hands, if you throw the ball already and you're getting taken down, yeah, you should learn how to catch your fall, And I think so. It will help to a certain extent. So I'm super excited that he's doing that, And if he ever needs somebody to jiu-jitsu with, he back home. Tell him, holla at your boy.
He's fine, but let's be honest, guys. He ain't Patrick Mahomes. And we're coming to Kansas City on Saturday night, the home of the Super Bowl champions. Brendan Tobin, Max Holloway joining us here for a few more minutes on Tapped Out. You mentioned the Calvin Kattar fight. In the middle of that fight, literally in the middle of it, you were telling everybody that would listen, including the broadcasters, I'm the best boxer in the UFC. With everybody getting paid now just to go out there and box, is it tempting to say, screw this, I am the best boxer, I'm going to go out there and beat blank's ass and get the bag?
We see what happens. Boxing is always fun. I get to train with some of Hawaii's best boxers there is. Right now they're all up and coming. My cousin and a bunch of his friends, and I got friends out there they're up and comers and they're gonna kill it. They're be on the watch out for Hawaii boxing. It's really coming up. I think so. We just they just had the national gloves or the national somewhere here around here, and I think so like 7 or 8 Hawaiians ended up winning gold, or if they didn't win gold, they came second or third. So it was pretty exciting time, and like you said, never say never, man. You never know, we got to see Conor fight Floyd Mayweather. So
right,
what the world we live in now, social media, like I said, is a crazy place, man. That never say never.
Two guys you have experience in the octagon with, in Volk and Yair, they're going to square off eventually for the title. How much intrigue do you have in that? Obviously, with you wanting to run it back with Volk, but you've beaten Yair. So what do you think your emotions are going to be like watching that matchup?
I mean, it's a great fight. It's a great fight. I think so. A lot of people, they're calling out Yair, which is kind of crazy to me. Yair is a very crafty, very weird, tough guy to fight, man. The only guy I know that can freaking probably be nose to nose with you and then he can still kick you in the head. which is pretty amazing to do, you know. So I think it'd be a fun fight. I think it'd be a great fight for both of them, and you know, for sure, you know, I think so they got announced for the International Fight Week, so that is a fight that I definitely will tune into. So we see what happens, and the best man win.
Before you get out of here, Max, coming up on Saturday night, main event in Kansas City versus Arnold Allen. You talk about Yair being a weird kind of fighter. What do you expect to see from Arnold Allen on the cage, a guy that so far hasn't lost in the UFC?
We get to, you know, the hard thing is that, you know, yeah, he's been in the UFC for quite a while now. He is on a 10-fight win streak, but his fights is like very, you know, very spaced out. You know, he gets hurt and then, you know, he disappears for a little bit and fights, and then every time is a different fighter, you know, versus me. There's a lot of film on me. There's a lot of film of people breaking down on me. So
yeah,
it's a crazy thing. So at the end of the day, it's just intriguing. You know, I did see that he said that he thinks his boxing is better than me. You know, and last time somebody told me that didn't go well for them. So we see what happens. You know, we see what happens. You know, talk is cheap. Here in a few days, we get to figure out who's really talking the talk and who's really walking the walk. So I can't wait for it.
And of course, we know the best is blessed. Max Holloway, dude, you're not joking. I was looking at both your guys' records, and especially early on in your career, not only were you fighting the killers on the way up, the Poiriers, the McGregors, all those guys, but it was like 3 times a year, 4 times a year. Like anytime they offered you, it felt like you were out there. In the case of Arnold Allen, and I like him, he came on the show too. It was once a year, every single year in the UFC, except for one time he's fought twice. So yeah, it's just different. You know, trying to figure it out.
Yeah, he got hurt, man. That's what happened. That's what injuries happens, and out here he'd fight and get hurt. So that's why a lot of people is like, oh, yeah, young up and comer, but he almost been in the UFC as long as me,
right?
So it's kind of crazy, you know. It's kind of crazy the amount of work that I was able to get. Like, you know, thankfully I wasn't able to get too much injuries and stuff that had to keep me sidelined. You know, I had some injuries, but I was able to fight through it. So we're here, you know, and I mean, it's inevitable, you know. He's on a 10-fight win streak. I'm on top of the division. We're gonna fight each other at some point. So we're here now.
Bro, Kansas City's buzzing for this one. Can't wait for this weekend. Max Holloway, Arnold Allen in the main event. Thanks so much for your time, brother. We appreciate it.
Thank you, guys. You guys have a good one.